Yeah.
Good morning. It's Monday, July 13th, the Tufton Borough Board of Selectmen meeting from the Townhouse. Members of the public wishing to attend this meeting electronically, please join us through your computer, tablet, or smartphone by going through global.com/join/996-433941. You can also listen by telephone. It's a toll-free number, 1-877-309-2073, access code 996-433-941. Please note that you'll be able to interact during the public input using the online service. However, you will only be able to listen to the meeting via telephone. If you have any issues attending this meeting electronically using the aforementioned instructions, please call 603-569-5903. That's the local number of 569-5903. With that being said, there is a quorum. Dan, would you please lead us in the pledge flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Karen, is there anyone on the line that wishes to speak, member of the public?
So I would suggest, I had invited Dan to come to discuss the election situation. This might be an appropriate time to do that during public input.
Let's do that.
So.
Hi, Dan, how are you?
Witness chair?
Yep.
Yes. Right, and we have the electricity turned off, so don't worry.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Can you hear him okay through the mask?
Yes.
Microphone's right there.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Well, so maybe you can fill us in a little bit about what you know about availability of polling place for September.
Well, as you know, back in May, I'll lower this so I can be understood. Back in May, Heather requested through the normal channels the gym at the central school for use as a polling place in lieu of this, the townhouse, so that we could accommodate the spacing requirements of the corona protocols. I think whoever she spoke to said, well, we aren't even sure if the school's going to be open at the time, but we submitted the paperwork and did everything, I think, according to Hoyle. In the last week, I became a little concerned that we hadn't had any real confirmation of that, although there was no reason to believe that the school wouldn't be available. But I went to Jack Widmer to just confirm that we were set for September 8th, the state primary, to be held in the gymnasium at the school. He checked into it and came back with a problem, that the school board has approved their new 2021 academic schedule, calendar year, and the opening of school was scheduled for September 8th, the same day as the primary. It would appear that although the school made allowances for the presidential election, I think the school board or the people who put together the calendar may have simply missed the fact that there is a primary election on September 8th. Bottom line is that Jack talked to the superintendent. There's going to be a virtual meeting either tomorrow night or Wednesday of the school board. The feeling is they need the school board to approve a change to the calendar that they just a week or so ago approved as a board. Jack's suggestion will be that they move the opening of school up one day to Wednesday instead of Tuesday, which would clear the way for us to use the gymnasium. There are other schools in the district that may have the same problem, but they have not yet approached the school as we did way back in May. I know New Durham uses their school as part of the election.
Yep.
And Effingham has in the past, although they were going to move to their own facility. But there's a question of whether those facilities will be large enough to accommodate the new deal. So there may be other schools looking to use, other towns looking to use the school, just as we are. I expect to hear back from Jack either tomorrow night or Wednesday, and hopefully that everything will be under control at that point.
So if the gym isn't available, which we don't anticipate, but if for some reason they decide they're not going to make it available, what other alternatives do you see for us as a polling place?
The firehouse.
Okay.
I don't see anything else in town that's big enough to hold us.
Well, the only other venue that I saw would be Davis Field. Rent a large tent on Davis Field and do it there. But if the weather's mucky, what day of the week? It's a Tuesday. Tuesday, the day after Labor Day. But would the bays of the firehouse have adequate space to set up polling in it?
Is there space?
The apparatus bays of the firehouse are large enough to accommodate an adequate polling place?
I would think so. I would think so. I mean, I need to. We need to get a floor plan of either the school or the firehouse or where we're going to do it. Kind of lay it out, but it certainly would seem to me that facility's large enough.
I have two questions. Number one, has anyone considered the conference center at Northwood? That's a pretty huge building.
I haven't considered it.
Or any of the camps that have large, Sentinel Lodge, for example, there'd be problems with traffic, but it is a huge building. The other thing is there anything by law that says the voting has to be within the statutory town line of Tuftonboro?
To the best of my knowledge, no, the polling does not have to be within Tuftonboro, although logically that would be our preference.
Yes.
And no, I have not contacted the camps. It didn't occur to me. Frankly, I thought we were pretty safe with the school.
Well, school gym is the obvious place to use.
Especially this school where the gym is basically separated with an entrance and an exit and bathrooms. It is a logical choice, and tradition has made it so. I have no more questions.
Yeah, I don't know what why am I searching for a word? The logistics of doing it with school open, that would be a problem.
It's a problem on two fronts, I think. Number one, the schools have been traditionally, in the last several years, closed on Election Day because there is a conflict between school rules which don't permit firearms in the school. But in an election, we are constrained by other laws that mandate we can't prevent people from bringing a gun in if they choose to, although Lord helps me, I hope they don't. But that was the reason that they decided, well, we'll just close the schools on the election day. You're right, however, school could be going up with the election.
Yes, it is it can be physically separated. And I know of other school districts that hold school and use the school for voting, you know, in an area that's isolated from the students, so that there's no contact between the general public coming in to vote and the school. I think our district has chosen to just, you know, not go there in the past.
Maybe set up a little operation here for people that have to carry a gun. I mean, we're not limited to one polling place.
Yes, we are. Well, my understanding is that we can designate the time and place, this board designates the time and place of elections, but if we want to have multiple locations, that has to go to town meeting for approval.
Yes, that's my.
That's correct.
So we can't just.
You can transfer, but you can't create a new one.
Right. We, as a board, can't say we're going to have multiple polling places.
Correct.
Well, you've answered my questions, and it's a work in progress, and my sense it will probably work out. It's been a good working relationship with the school.
I certainly expect to hear within the next 24, 48 hours.
Okay.
And the November election's all set. Is that what your understanding is? That the general election isn't a problem?
The general election, the school board has already got that on their calendar. Yes.
I have nothing more.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you for coming in.
Have a quiet day. Be safe. Do we want to accommodate the guest that just came?
Sure.
Are you a member of the public that would like to speak? Your name, please, for the record.
Sorry?
Your name, please, for the record. And would you please sit down? Did you get his name?
Pete Dancy? Yes,
Sure.
this is a selectman meeting, right?
Yes, it is.
Go ahead, sir.
Oh, I'm just here to kind of see, what is happening with the Willen Road.
Mm-hmm.
And, basically, what needs to be done in terms of, creating that, category 6 to a category 5, if there's work that needs to be done to that road. I'm, you know, in contract to purchase, the top of the hill property. It's 116 acres up across from, Hertz property over there. So I'm just.
Steve Allen's piece?
Yeah, Steve Allen's piece, yeah. So I'm just, I wanted to kind of see what was happening with that.
That was on the agenda at 9:15, but the road agent is ill. I'll be here today,
Oh, okay.
so I apologize.
No problem. So that won't happen, actually. Do you guys have any knowledge of the road, or have you seen the road?
Yes.
Yeah.
A couple of us are natives.
Oh, okay. Do you think there's going to be a significant upgrade to the road, in your best of knowledge? You know, in terms.
There's going to be some upgrading. I don't know how, I mean, I guess we all think of significant in different terms, but.
Does it have to be paved? My main concern is.
No,
We have dirt roads.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Our plan is that it will remain an unpaved road.
Okay.
And earlier in the spring, we discussed with the road agent that this board would meet with him
Yeah.
at an appropriate time during the season
Okay.
to go over what it is that we need to do in terms of upgrades to bring it to current maintenance standard for a town dirt road.
Right.
My opinion is that it's not going to require significant upgrades, but our plan is to walk through it with Jim and agree on exactly what it is that needs to happen.
Okay.
By no means do I envision it being a superhighway.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
So it's, my thought is it's gonna essentially look the same as it has.
Yeah.
That the areas where it will need some additional, upgrade is just to facilitate being able to maintain it, with
stuff, yeah.
town equipment.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, great.
Kind of conform with what, if you're familiar with Phineas Graves Road, for instance, or Lang Pond Road, those are town.
Similar, okay.
And they're not fully fleshed out two-lane highways, but they're
Right.
Functional.
functional.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically, I just kind of wanted to hear, your guys' opinion about the road, so just to avoid any huge surprises if the intent was to pave it, or is it going to be this massive expense? I just wanted to kind of.
I think Skip might have problems if we tell him we need it paved.
Yeah, no, I understand, like, he had stood up, so it's all very new, in terms of, just getting approved and becoming a town road, so. But, all right, that's really my main question, I feel,
We need to get it done before the winter season. So
Right.
I'm sure it'll happen.
Yeah,
And COVID sort of
no, I understand, completely everybody's position, and
stopped on
The delays.
but we need to get.
hopefully the road agent is feeling better, and, it's nothing serious. But, all right, great.
Well,
I think it's more of a phobia. He does that from time to time.
Oh, okay, good.
well, welcome to Tufton.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We're in Molten Borough, but we're looking forward to coming over here and eventually building, a house over there.
Great.
At some point in the future. Good. See what happens. But it's great meeting everybody again. I'm Pete Dancy, and it's a pleasure. Thanks for your time.
Nice to meet you,
Yeah,
and
you
be
too.
safe, my friend.
Thank you. You too. You too.
Volunteer for town government.
Oh, absolutely. That sounds great. We're looking forward to being part of it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Let's review and approve minutes. First will be July 6th, public minutes. And in the second paragraph under police station, I have something written in. Karen, can you explain it?
Yes, I want to ask you folks, if you, Gary called me to say that was not him. Do you folks remember that letter?
Excuse me, I can't hear you.
I know, this thing is, we tried, but, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. So Gary Shaheen called and mentioned he wasn't the one that mentioned secure areas. Do you folks remember who it was with his title?
The only thing I can think of is a citizen.
Yeah, I agree. I just didn't know if you have, that's fine, yeah.
Well, may not be a citizen, somebody that was at the meeting.
Or somebody.
Right,
He
right.
responded to somebody
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
for the appropriate.
Member of the public.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Other than that, I'm all set.
So I will move approval with that correction.
I'll second.
Further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
Oh, like the car.
Next is non-public, at 10:54, July 6th.
I will move approval.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. The next is the 11:04, non-public.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I'd like to discuss whether we need to make this room sealed. We're advertising.
Yeah, I think we can unseal them. I don't see any,
Advertise for all these positions.
yeah.
Yes.
So I move that we unseal.
I'll second.
82nd, that's the 11:04.
That's correct.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Next, July 6th at 11:45.
Move approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. And I'll move we unseal.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. I don't have 7:10.
I apologize. I put that on there thinking that we would have it done, but they're not.
Okay. Next is our building inspector, Jack Parsons. Come on down. Good morning, sir. How are you? Good morning, good.
So I have 63 building permits. We have 10 new homes to date. I've done 235 inspections. I heard from the painter of the town office last week, and he's getting ready to start. And then the library wants 2 more of those guards, so I'm gonna have to build 2 more guards for them, so.
So the painting is on the
Town offices, yeah. And some of the windows are getting deleted on that price, so let me see if I can get them up here and touch up a couple things on this building.
You deleted the windows.
Because they're changing the windows and they're gonna be vinyl, they don't need to be painted, so.
And,
I've talked to
schedule
Jeff.
on the new windows, who knows, huh?
The way it is.
So, well, my guess is the window business was one of those that was non-essential and it got shut down or something, and so now everything's back.
He did the doors of the highway, and he's gonna, at the transfer station, he's gonna come here after, but
Yeah.
I've seen him, so. There's a couple rot areas here that had to be replaced as well.
So you're gonna use that paint money up here?
Some of the extras just to touch up on this
I know we
building.
didn't budget for all the paint that's needed down here. Are we gonna do it in 2 stages?
No, we budgeted for all of it.
Did we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even the cupola?
Yes, but we're gonna take some of that off because he's gonna look at it, cause he might be the one that's gonna give us the price to rebuild it, so.
Okay.
Cause he does other stuff as well.
So in addition to painting up here, there are some boards that,
There's some rock, yeah,
Need to
around by
be
the ramp, and there's a
replaced,
couple
yeah.
of clapboards and a corner board in that corner,
Yeah.
and a couple of things, yeah.
so, and I don't know if it makes sense to replace them with the, non-wood boards along the bottom, you know, like they used at the,
Well,
on the new
right
buildings.
now, these are pine clapboards, so I think if the bog replaced with redwood or something else, it'd be better, so.
Yeah, and that's last.
And they've been here for who knows how long. I've already replaced some on the bottom on this
Right.
side, so, and those on the front are original. And the way it was done when the ramp was put in, they were just hacked off and a board was nailed over it, and it wasn't really done right, so. That's all I have.
Anything else for me?
uh,
I see with interest that you're nudging some people along as far
Oh,
as
yeah.
cleanup and.
I have
Any-
one more too, that gentleman out on Cow Island inside of Windswept hasn't done anything, so I think, I'm gonna have Rick push him along, so.
yeah,
Was there, cease and desist filed on, or approved on that Bear Island?
Yes, and that's been taken care of. I don't know if you,
I think there's a
Karen gave you an
consent.
email, there's actually,
Right.
he signed something that he wouldn't continue in lieu of going to court, so that'll be taken care of as soon as he fixes his shoreline permit and comes up with a new one to do something, so.
I was trying to think there was another wetland. No, it's completely slipped my mind. And I saw some activity that looked like they probably should get permitted, but it wasn't so horrific that I can remember what it was, so maybe next time I see you.
Okay.
So if you need any more sheets of
But I'm gonna buy it new, cause they won't be all scratched out. And it's 30 by 30,
yeah,
that's what they want, the same
okay,
size.
I was gonna say, I got a couple more of those sheets
Yeah.
down in the cellar that I'm happy to donate,
Right,
because I'm not gonna use them anymore, but they're a little scratched up, so
yeah.
we want pristine.
New library, I think.
Yeah,
New-
yeah.
New piece of flexing.
Yep.
so.
Yep. That's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Nice job.
Jack.
Thank you for your efforts. Jim Bean, is out sick today. Do we want to schedule an alternate meeting and dedicate some time to him, or just wait till the next
Or
meeting?
next available time. I think we need to get, there are a couple of issues. First of all, William Road, we need to talk about. The other piece that I was looking at just this morning was, Federal Corner Road at the junction of Middle Road. I don't know if you've taken a look at that.
Yes.
That's completely broken up.
Yes.
And we really need to, that catch basin, although it's a state catch basin, we just get full of dirt. So we need to fix that at some point.
I know, I've had conversations and it's on his,
I thought we were gonna talk about, I thought we were gonna get stop lines. You brought it up, I don't know how many million times, but there are a few issues. I don't think Jim can
Right.
avoid us all summer.
So, maybe an appropriate thing to do would be to try and schedule a meeting with him up at Willand Road
Sure.
to walk that, and at the same time, we can address some of these other issues. So, and I'll just throw out maybe this Friday, and Friday morning,
Sure.
as a potential, and, you know, we can do a work session up at Willand Road, and, if that doesn't work for Jim, you know, we can pursue something down the road, but we need to get that issue, I think, addressed,
Yeah.
sooner rather than later. And we're past the big push in terms of getting the repaving
Right.
project. I'm not exactly sure where we're at on Dame Road, but the work has been done on North Line.
Yeah, that
So-
came out nice.
I had a conversation with him. I asked him to please follow up as you come from North Line onto Ledge Hill Road. The paving company doesn't have the machines to do the swale and around the catch basin there, and he says that will be done. The other thing is, I have asked him to please pay attention to how much money left in the warrant article. It's not clear on my mind that with more trees that he took down 2 weeks ago and the riprap that's being hauled in, that, I just want to be to the dollar. They're there, so. And I've had these conversations with him, and I'll represent to you, he's always been,
Yeah, he
helpful.
is still submitted to Diane so we can get that accounted for in the budget, because she's gonna be printing out a budget here in a couple of weeks for us to look at, hopefully.
And I also will bring up for the third time this calendar year, the issue of buying knife edges and parts for equipment that's not ours. That's the
Well, I
problem.
think that's something you have to address with him when he's here.
That's correct.
I don't think
Yeah.
Bill or I have.
And that's why I wrote it up that way, so it'll be part of the agenda.
Right. I think when we get back to Willand Road, if we get into September, October, November, we're really pushing it. And although the town was cooperative in accepting the change of status, the landowners made promises that I think we can't push off for
Oh, they have expectations.
years and years. And I think their expectation is the winter of 2021, the town's plowing that road. So we need to get it into a state where we can,
The earlier we can identify what needs to be done,
yeah.
provides a bigger window to get it done before the snow flies.
Yeah.
And, so, seems to me that now is an appropriate time to get after it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, thank you. So you'll post, for Friday, 9 o'clock? And do we meet at,
I think we just meet at Willand Road. Why would we meet someplace
he
else?
has, in the past, the selectmen have ridden in his truck, there's plenty of room for.
So,
No.
I'm all set riding alone.
What?
I'm all set riding. in my
Okay,
own car.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever you folks want.
So how about we have Karen let us know what Jim says about a meeting on Friday?
Okay.
I'm flexible on top.
Yep.
Excuse me.
Yep. Clay, we're all ahead of schedule, come on down. How are you, sir?
Good, how about you?
Before I start, there was a note on my, schedule or agenda to ask about Lang Pond speed bumps. Are there speed bumps?
No, there's something in correspondence about that.
Somebody
Oh,
wrote and suggested that
we're not,
we put speed bumps in, and, I know that Chief Shigori had said he's not in favor of putting speed
I'm not
bumps
in
on
favor of putting speed bumps on
town roads.
town roads.
Right, no,
And if you wanna put them in your development, that's
right.
fine.
Like Hidden Valley.
Morning, the first page is the itinerary. page 2 and 3 is a specific wrap-up. Page 4 is the monthly totals. So for monthly totals for June, 14 solid waste compactors, 18 CD containers, 3 plastic containers. We shipped out 1 load of glass, 2 loads of brush, 41 Freon units, and 21 propane tanks. Tire container was swapped out. The revenues total through June 2020 are approximately $25,129. The same time last year was $51,528. We will slowly creep back up as far as the amounts there.
So, and the biggest difference on the revenue was the period of time we weren't taking C&D?
Correct. That and stickers. It's the second year of stickers, so.
Yeah.
General info, first.
While we're on the, sorry to interrupt.
That's right.
We need to start making some assumptions about our budget for 2021.
Correct.
And should we be looking at these revenue numbers?
No, I would look at, this rate we're at about the same rate we are from last year. So I would look at last year's totals. I would go over last year's totals if nothing changes. If nothing changes between now and then. If we revert back to
the revenues,
right,
and then run into a problem later
right.
on in the year.
The only change I would recommend is if we revert back to not taking CD, and that's going to be an extended thing,
right,
then we'd have to readjust down. But I would say this is going to be a bump just for the March through June,
right,
and then from now on, it's the same as it was a year ago. So I would say that we would take last year's totals for CD,
okay,
and estimate what the 2021 budget's going to be,
right,
with a percentage increase, for
okay.
waste management. That's how I would do it.
All right, we'll continue.
One of our two CIP items, the compactor number 1 is done, complete, and checked, new hopper and new compactor, and it works great. Everybody is trained on how to operate it. It's a slightly different control panel, but it's once you sit in there for 30 minutes, 35 minutes, it's very easy to understand. It's the same function. It's what the old one did with the key. Now we're doing with a button, a different button. So it's just getting
Like buying a new car, the windshield wipers are in a different place.
right. So everybody's up to speed on it, and it works very well. It's all aligned, and everything is good. Jeff Walker did the new doors. He did the double doors in the front, the single door that goes to the office. He also did the door that goes out to the back lean-to. And he, in addition to that, also put a horse door on my Dutch door on my office thing, which really it works good. And he did that from the encumbered funds. The new baler is scheduled. That's our second CIP item. That is scheduled now to come in on the 23rd of July. So that will complete our CIP items. And in order to do that, one requirement I have to have done before that is to have a circuit shut-off box put on the wall.
Is that a Saturday?
No, July 23rd. It should be a Thursday.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And that will utilize the same bolts in the floor. So they're going to do some welding. They've already measured and everything like that, so we don't drill new holes because we have radiant heat, and I don't want to drill into radiant heat at any cost. So like I said, the requirement prior to that for safety, is, to have a circuit shut-off box within sight of when you are operating the control panel, which the circuit box is right there, but it's blocked by the machine. So you have to have a circuit shut-off box that you can see from the operation thing. So we'll have that installed, I'm gonna have that installed, on the 16th of July. Scott Thompson's gonna do that. And that's replacing our oldest baler with a new baler.
So do the other balers have a,
The circuit shut-off box, there's the one on the left, as you're looking at them from my office, the one on the left has one,
yeah,
because you can't see through the middle machine.
mm-hmm.
The one in the middle of the control panel is right in front of the circuit box, that doesn't need one. That's where you can go shut the circuits off, right there. And the one on the right that's being replaced, the light blue one, will have a new one. That meets all the safety and standards. And Atlantic Recycling, you know, they're the same ones that put the compactor in. They're the ones that said, you need to have this.
Mm-hmm.
He's very good with all the rules and requirements. And that will complete our CIP items. I expect them both to come in below budget. I know they're going to give us $500 credit on each one from, I sold them the old glass machine we had in the metal pile, pulled out, sold it to them for $500 credit for each one, so that saves some tax dollars. The landfill field was mowed. Kyle Joseph did it. Did a great job. First time he's done it, and did an outstanding job. If you get the chance down there and look at the landfill and look at the power lines, and he did a real good job. Island Day is going to be on the 17th. From 8 o'clock in the morning till 12 noon. I've already pre-coordinated with a conference call with Waste Management, with the schedule from Waste Management, with myself, and had all of our specific requirements confirmed, that we will have the container delivered by 7:15 down to Pier on Friday morning, and picked up at 12 to 12:15 p.m. on Friday. I've also talked to Andy yesterday. I'm going to send him an email about having surveillance of the area beforehand, earlier in the morning, so that people just don't come over and drop stuff off.
Early drop-offs, yeah.
And take off. And I also said it might not be a bad idea to check on Saturday too, periodically, as they drive by, to make sure no one's illegal.
I understand you've contacted representatives of the island people?
Yes. And Dave, I can't remember, Kathy, I can't remember her last name off the top of my head, but I called her back after our last meeting, where we didn't get any bids to do it on Saturday. Told her that the date was going to be the 17th. And she's already told, I think, everybody on the island. So we have it posted on the website. Island Day is the 17th, and it's fully coordinated. And I will re-coordinate with Waste Management and Alfredo down there, the dispatcher, probably Wednesday afternoon, Thursday, just to make sure. Household Hazardous Waste Day, they finally settled that all out, and in your packet, the last page is the flyer. The 2 days are the last Saturday in July and the first Saturday in August. The last Saturday in July, Meredith dropped out of the program, so there is no really convenient location to us. However, if you're going over towards Guilford for something, you're going to Lowe's or something like that, you could make a stop and drop over at Guilford. The one that's going to be the most convenient for us is Moultonboro, the second Saturday, August 1st, and that's on Moultonboro Neck. across from Abashan. You drive down there, take a left, and that's where the town, highway garage is. And, that'll be from 8:30 to noon. And I also want to remind everybody that's listening and on air that you're always, have the opportunity to drive down to Wolfboro the third Saturday of the month, May through October, from 8 to noon, and use their household hazardous waste facility. It's a pay as you go. There's no requirements, no sticker, no ticket to get in there. You just pay the going rate fee. So you can get rid of your material.
In the past, you've made a sign that's laminated.
Yeah, I don't know that they're gonna have, I'll ask, but these are pretty much, what I've gotten from them so far.
I know that they have been appreciated at a couple of places.
Yeah, they have been really swamped over at LRPC, obviously, trying to get another facility to come online on our side of the lake. But I will contact them and see. But these will be posted. The banner for the days are posted up the transfer station, and it's on will be on our website. So I will call and talk to Dave Jefferson, see if we can get at least a hard copy of that one that we print out that includes Wolf Pro days.
The nice thing is, what I've done is, I've been able to make copies of it and give it to individuals.
Yeah.
And they post it at, especially people who have cabins and things like that.
Right. Any questions before? I got one other subject area that was brought up. Any questions on the movements or on any?
Do we charge for propane?
Yes, we do. It's $5 a tank.
And
That's for the large barbecue tanks. For the small cylinders, we don't charge for them. There's a $9 a fee for pumping out Freon. And I have an arrangement with a licensed individual that we barter, and he gets to take some of the material that we have, and he gives us the propane and the Freon.
so when you say 21 prop,
That's 21 propane units, propane tanks.
those are only the big ones?
Barbecue, the 20-pounders or larger.
Okay. So it's not
Okay. The Freon is to refrigerators, dehumidifiers, air conditioners, water coolers, those kind of things.
All right, thanks.
And we have to have them purged, certified, and then we move them over into the metal pile before they pick them up. Okay. One last area, I got a call, and this is the letter. I don't know if you give them a copy of it.
It's in the purple folder.
Oh, it's in the purple folder, but here's a copy of yes. Yep. What was her name? Jessica, I think. The letter doesn't have a signature block on it, but
Jessica Stanton.
yeah, Jessica Stanton, that's it. But she approached me that Molten Borough has closed down all their recycling. Everything's going in the trash, just normal, regular trash. Their single stream has stopped, and so there is an audience of people at Bald Peak that is still interested in recycling material. And she approached me with the idea, could we accept their recycling? And I explained her very succinctly that in order to use our facility, you have to have a Tuckenboro sticker, and that it's based on tax dollars for household waste, and that we don't want people from other towns obviously using our facility. Same thing as Moultonborough wouldn't want us using their facility. I said there is an avenue where we would be looked favorably upon doing recycling. If you come down and take a look at what we do, and I would treat it almost like a summer camp arrangement where we could get the recycling commodities, cardboard, glass, plastic, aluminum cans, steel, and tin cans, as long as they were sorted and brought to us sorted, and that they would be almost the same as how we do summer camps here. And it would be a temporary, I would be in favor of a temporary solution until Moultonborough opens back up, and then, change and go through your own facility. I said the avenue to do that is, I can't approve that kind of thing. Myself, would be to come to the Selectmen, and I recommend that she write a proposal, which she did. And she proposed 2 separate items. The first is to issue a temporary permit to Bald Peak residents for the remainder of the season. This would have an associated fee. Residents of Bald Peak receive trash pickup twice a week, so it's unlikely that residents would bring trash to the transfer station, which has been raised as a legitimate concern. I would not recommend doing that proposal where you have individuals and you get stickers and all the. I don't think that's
There's no control of it.
There's absolutely no control, and the end result is you get almost a conditioning where we can use Tuftonboro transfer station.
Well, it's a lot closer than the Moultonborough.
Right, exactly. So my the second proposal is to allow biweekly or weekly delivery of recycled goods by either a Bald Peak employee or a recycler like Barbara from Moultonborough, or one of the collection agencies that does recycling, that will bring it to us like the summer camp does, and they can even go directly to some of the containers that we have and dump it right in the containers. So it would be no real large effect on us. Mm-hmm. And she said, this permit would also carry a fee. I don't think a fee is necessary.
Is there any cost involved?
The cost would be that we are taking glass that we wouldn't normally have. So there'd be $35 a ton cost in crushing. The other cost would be plastics, which we get rid of, which we pay a small amount for, that we normally wouldn't be taking. The offset would be cardboard, which we would be probably getting a lot of, and aluminum cans, which we would probably be getting a lot of, and steel and tin cans, which we get revenue for. So I'd say long run, it would be a push or a positive for us money-wise. It would be no real skin off of our back labor-wise, as long as it comes once every week, and we can pre-coordinate the time. But I would recommend approving number 2, but getting back to her and saying that it has to be organized on their end.
Right.
And that it be delivered the same as our camps deliver to us.
And specific times and dates.
And right, and we coordinate a time and a date for them to do that.
And part of, very small part of Bald Peak is actually in Tufton.
Right. There's I think 4 houses or something like that. It's in Tufton.
I just don't know how I don't think we have any way of charging non-resident outside of town fees for something we're doing.
I would say because it's a temporary thing, and it's not gonna be that long. You know, we're probably only talking another month or month and a half, 2 months. By the time they get it up and running, you know, you're gonna look at maybe a month and a half worth of stuff.
Well, I move that we approve, the issuance of the temporary permit for Baltic Colony for the acceptance of recycled materials, based upon delivery by a single source, on a schedule that, schedule basis that, works for you at the transfer station.
Okay,
I'll second.
agree.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
When is the swap shop open?
It's open, it's been open since the 23rd of, yes, it was open. The ladies left, around 12:30.
Yeah.
It was so hot and so muggy, they said,
Yeah.
they were,
Whatever happened to volunteers? I mean,
they were drenched.
I've met them, they've done a nice job.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. And the swap shop is open. The majority of the calls we still get, everything else is everybody's pretty much up to speed on, is the hours of the swap shop. And it's Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday, from 8 to 3 is the current schedule. Yeah. Hot or really, really bad weather. I mean, if it's pouring rain and typhoon down, they're gonna close up.
Well, be safe. I'd like to move on to signatures.
Okay.
First item is land use change tax.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure on that one. If you could explain to me how much land came out. No, I read it.
Okay.
Very
So-
small amount.
Is it, that's what it is, like 0.4
Yeah,
acres?
like over, I think, it's very small.
Number of acres previous disqualified, .026. Acres disqualified per this assessment, .007.
It must be where they did that horse thing out there.
He did put a note on what it's for, I thought. I don't know.
Is it on the back?
I didn't see it.
Can you help me out here?
At any rate, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'll move approval.
I'll second.
Oh, there's a map here.
Yeah.
He drew a map.
Okay.
You want to take a look at it?
No, I'm fine. It just seemed odd that,
It's such a small amount.
yeah, they must have changed something that upset Rod.
Right.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Today's 13. That's the first page. We'll multitask here. These are letters of employees and volunteers. One is to Victoria Kinman. Thank her for her years of service with the police department. Next is thanking Mary Ann Lynch for years of service on the CIP, especially as secretary. And the third person is Kathleen Murphy. We thank her for her service for the Conservation Commission.
I'll move approval of, signing those letters.
Is there a second? Motion's made and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. And again, we'll multitask. This is just some paperwork to the Department of Revenue from Diane that we will not be using Form PA-28 in 2021. Just to let the Department of Revenue know.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And as I recall, it's the same thing we do every year.
Yep. Next items are right to burial. The first one, we can convey our property rights to Thomas E. Eftim, E-F-T-I-M.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The next one is right of burial to Mr. and Mrs. William Fallsby Sr.
Move approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Having put them all in the red. Anything else to sign? Okay. Let's move on to the green folder, correspondence. First item is Town of Tuftonboro is currently seeking an appointment for the Budget Committee. This is a copy of the advertisement, and folks have read that we have received a couple of responses. The second one was from Penny Hug, H-U-G.
That's on the Budget Committee.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we need to do something
Yep.
because we got a meeting coming up.
Right. Well,
When is the meeting, Karen?
August 12th, right? Something like that, early August, yeah.
August.
I apologize for not including that, from before, but I
Right.
didn't know that.
So,
Are we
Well-
expecting more?
I think,
It says the Board of Selectmen will review submissions at their July 13th meeting.
right. So, well, I know Penny, and she has a background of dealing with financial stuff, in her career as well as, in town government where she was before. And, in my opinion, she would be a good addition to the Budget Committee. A fresh face, but with experience in dealing with similar matters in the past. And I think I'm going to recommend that we appoint her.
Okay.
I'm the Selectmen's representative on the Budget Committee, so I'm not prepared to second that.
I'll second it for purposes of discussion. I've worked with her, so I'm voting in favor. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
So. But I
understand. Our correspondence to the road agent that we discussed. Docking at Melvin Village Steamboat Dock. When I saw Jim Bean, I asked him, did he have any problems with it, where he has barges and boats, and is the dock safe and all that? And he did not.
So we have heard back from the road agent, the police chief, and the code officer, none of whom
And I'm
had an
okay
issue with
with
it.
the road agent saying it's okay because he has docks and bridges under his budget.
Yes, he repairs down there.
I'm not at all interested to know whether or not he keeps his barge there and it's gonna interfere with that, because that's not town business.
I've never seen his barge there, but maybe he has, I don't know.
I have no
I didn't
idea.
ask him.
Yeah.
You just mentioned it. You know, I just wanna make it clear that.
Yep. So I will move that we approve the use of the, Melvin Wharf, by the steamboats during their, and I don't recall the specific, dates that we're looking at here. It's September 13th through the 19th.
I'll second this motion.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Under correspondence, Brian Cranston dropped off a recap of his proposal about Abbott Drive. It's still under review.
I'm prepared to deal with it. Yeah.
Okay. Karen, I couldn't hear you.
He's supposed to be here for that, and there is some, additional correspondence they have.
Yes. Okay. I'll defer to the selectmen first.
Well, I know you had wanted to go out and take a look at
I did.
the road. And I reviewed the paperwork again, in the situation. And I'm not in favor of supporting a change in the name of the road. It was, I appreciate his interest in memorializing his name for the future, but it was named, when it was named, in honor of the recognition of the person that developed the area, and it's and his proposal to shift the name to the driveways of the adjacent properties really doesn't make sense to me either. So
Well, it's just a motion.
let's, yes.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. I'll open it up for discussion. If someone from the public would like to speak, you need to give your name and speak into the microphone. If you'd like to speak, would you come down and give your name and speak into the microphone? Welcome, sir. How are you?
Thank you. Charlie Bayer,
Hi, Charlie.
3 Abbott Drive.
So I think we had correspondence from you, correct?
Yes, and I drew up a map, which I believe you have.
Yes.
I have a copy of the original. If there's any questions, I can show it to you. But, yeah, as you say, Bill, basically, Brian was proposing to make our driveways and the discontinued right-of-way, call that Abbott Drive. And, well, I think that'd be just very confusing. And I don't know if that's even allowed, that you could do that. But I myself, and I believe Gail, would prefer to keep the name as Abbott, because they were the ones who developed the area many years ago. And it would preserve their history and keep our addresses the way they are, which would be a lot less confusing.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. Gail, you want to say anything? If you do, just give your name to the secretary and step up to the microphone.
Pretty much the same as Charlie. I've spoken with Mrs. Abbott, and I believe she sent a letter to you. We all feel that it should stay as it always has been, and Ryan really is the new man on the block. We've all been here all our lives, and I live here full time, so we'd really like to keep things as they've always been and just not make things confusing. And I don't think that legally you can use someone's private driveway and land to make a road. Those are my feelings. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else like to speak about Abbott Drive? Just step up, give your name to the secretary, and speak into the mic. Hi there, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Brian Cranston. Can I take this down?
Yes, you can,
Okay.
as long as we stay 6 feet apart.
Okie dokie. Brian Cranston. The only thing I wanted to add to what I said the last time I was here is that, in a way, I find it ironic that two of my neighbors want me to maintain the name Abbott Drive, but they don't want their driveways called Abbott Drive. And I just see some irony in that, and I wonder if there's more to it than just the Abbott name. Could be sour grapes, I'm not sure. But anyway, I still maintain that it's my driveway. It starts at 109, it goes right down into my house, and I frequently get people coming down there looking for other places, mostly Gale's side. And I think it would be advantageous if the road was called Abbott Drive. It would certainly eliminate confusion. And I think by putting those two signs there, which I said I would do at my expense, would simplify it and would accomplish the objections that they had, preserving the name Abbott and preserving their addresses. So that's really all I wanted to say.
Okay.
I'd be curious in listening to what I missed what Gail said, but.
Just prior to you coming, it was the next thing on the correspondence,
Okay.
and a motion was made not to change the name, and it was seconded, and this was discussion, and with their permission, I opened it up to anybody who was here.
Okay.
My name is Lloyd Wood. I'm 72 years old, and someone said, have you lived here all your life? And I say, not yet. So I'll say that with a smile. I do the area, I'm familiar with it. I've been on ambulance calls there with my fire department and whatnot. I'm going to vote not to change the name, but in the spirit of friendliness, if I had seen you, I would have said, my grandmother and my parents have had their name perpetuated in Tufton Borough by starting a scholarship for hikers or dedicating the AED at the fire station or whatnot. Please, I'm trying to be conciliatory and straightforward. And if I'm downtown walking into a store, I want you to be able to say, hi, Lloyd, how you doing? And I want to be able to say, hi, Brian. So the nice thing during all this is everyone has given their opinion. You, and the other people here have been civil. Kind of makes my job easier, so thank you.
Right.
If there is no further discussion, I'm going to call for a vote. One last person. Anybody would like to speak? Well, thank you for being civil, folks. You are aware of the motion? Yep. Are we ready to vote? Right. All those in favor of the motion on the floor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes 3-0. And again, as chairman of the Board of Selectmen, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'd just say I accept your judgment, and there's certainly no ill will between us or my neighbors.
Right. Mm-hmm. The other thing is when the pandemic is over, I'll see you someplace and you'll say, hi, Lloyd, how you doing? So,
yeah.
Folks, be safe. Thank you for being civil.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next item of correspondence is correspondence about Lang Pond Road. There was a letter about the speed of vehicles and et cetera. Everyone read the...
There was a suggestion by a neighbor that in the area of the beach that perhaps adding speed bumps would keep the speeds down. I know we've heard from the police chief that he's not in favor of speed bumps on town roads. I'm not in favor of putting speed bumps on town roads. What I would suggest is that, we ask Karen to get a hold of the chief, and look at other, appropriate, speed enforcement, activities for Lang Pond Road. I mean, clearly we don't want people walking across the road being run down by vehicles, traveling at too high a rate of speed, but, speed bumps bring a whole different set of issues, that, I don't think, are warranted, on a town road.
I use that as a shortcut, doing business in town and then going down to 109. And since the upgrades, I see police cruisers there, not every single day, but, you know, more than once in a while. Past the beach.
You know, I mean, maybe that's an appropriate place to post the radar sign occasionally, just to,
Right.
you know.
I haven't seen vehicles outrageous, but then again, I'm not there 24/7. So I thought Steve Wingate's letter was very informative and accurately represented. There was actually a road study done with speeding vehicles, and there were not tractor-trailer trucks doing 55 miles an hour. As a matter of fact, they were all within the 85 percentile.
Yeah, and it's a dirt road.
Yep.
And any speed appears faster than the actual speed.
Right.
Well, and because of the way the road runs, if you're coming from the middle road end and you're coming down toward the beach, you come down a long, gentle grade until you get down to the bottom where we have that short paved section. So is there a tendency perhaps for speeds to drift up a little bit just because they're going down? Could be. But my guess is that the speeds that we're seeing we're not talking huge, maybe in excess of what the speed limit is, but not
Not
very
anywhere near what they do on Ledge Hill Road.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep. Maybe speed bumps.
Speed bumps on, let me up one.
Do we need to send a response to the citizen, or?
You let them know right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Next is, and I pulled it out of here, is the summary of people who don't wear masks at elections. Does that stay in legal advice, or does that come out?
Well, so there's no answer here. There's the question. So I you know,
and we're not really in power to make that happen.
Right.
There needs to be a governor's decision.
Right. So I think that was looking for guidance from the state as to how to deal with that.
Excuse me, did you elaborate on that? Was that?
So this was procedures for election day.
Right.
Masks, face shields, you know, sanitizing stuff, and somebody, not in the town of Tuftonboro, I don't think, asked the question back if somebody working as a poll worker refused to wear the PPE, how do you deal with that? My opinion is they're an employee, they don't work if they don't follow the procedure. Simple as that. But that's not an official answer. That's just my feeling. so.
Yeah, and they're, well, some of them are elected, but most of them are volunteers. Yeah.
They're volunteers, but they're paid volunteers.
If we decide that there's not gonna be, everybody has to wear a mask on election day, they're gonna wear a mask or they're not gonna work. The question of whether or not we can enforce, what I was addressing was telling everybody that comes to vote that they have to wear a mask.
Yeah, I think that's a different question.
That's a different question.
Okay, it's work in progress. The next correspondence is, we've already discussed it about, can we legally change the location of a polling place without a town meeting, and you addressed that.
Right. So this board determines, the time and place of election. But if we want to have more than one polling place, that's the legislative body that provides that authority.
Right. The summer edition of the Times is going to be delayed a few days. There's a key article concerns the change of venue for the state.
Yeah, we talked about that this morning.
Yep.
Yeah.
We also talked about availability of central school for elections.
Yep.
There's a letter from Effingham, cordially inquiring if we want to speak about the Governor Wentworth Regional School District's budget and the burden that is currently borne by the towns. I think it's self-explanatory, right?
Right.
Does that mean asking them to reduce the tax rate?
I don't know how they can.
Well,
Yeah.
the presumption in the letter is because school wasn't in session, that there was a lot of the budget that wasn't spent. But the biggest part of the budget is salaries, and all of those folks continue to work and get paid, right? And in terms of, building maintenance, utilities, and that sort of thing, most of that's a fairly fixed cost. So my guess is, if you look at how much money was spent against the budget, it's not much different than what was budgeted.
Well, and I would think a better approach, rather than this, full-on offensive pressure would be to just ask the school board to create a report on expenses to illustrate whether or not there was any.
Mm-hmm.
And say, we're going to adjust the budget going forward. Maybe, if they have unspent money going forward, I think the schools, it ends up going towards the next year's tax
Right.
commitment.
It's parallel to what we have,
Yeah.
reserve fund. Okay. Next is oil. Currently, Pemmy River has a contract through August 31st, and Easton has with propane. And letter sent by Karen was reaching out to Josh Sondal about next year doing the same thing. And she spoke with the Lakes Region Planning Commission and found out they will not be doing the annual fuel bid this year. What will Tuftonboro be doing? Can we ask Karen to make a couple phone calls and see if we can renew it for a year?
So I think it makes sense to do as we've done in the past, even before. Huh? Yeah, right. Yep. And make our determination based upon the pricing that comes in. That's just, we're happy with the service we're getting, and everybody knows that we're looking at opportunities to change. It just keeps everybody's pencil a little sharper, I think.
Next is, and we've kind of discussed it, it's from Paige Wilson. The subject is hazardous household waste update. Clay
He's already reviewed
it.
Yeah.
I want the board's permission to contact Jeff Hayes and have a conversation with him about, Lake Region Planning Commission. They are impacted, because of their cramped quarters. But I have a couple of issues. First of all, we pay dues, and we had a contract, with hazardous household waste. And 2 months ago, I found out through my contemporaries in Effingham that Lakes Region and Dave Jeffers from Tuftonboro had made arrangements to use the parking lot for hazardous waste in Effingham. The parking lot of the school is a staging area. Lakes Region would provide the personnel and the structure, and it would be for Freedom and Effingham. And I went to Clay, and I said, Clay, have you heard anything? And that's when he started to ring the telephone. The other thing is, and I don't want to be blunt, but I want to be sensitive. The master plan is 3 years overdue, and I'd like to know what the status of it is. But if I'm going to see Jeff Hayes and have a civil conversation with him, I want to make sure I have permission from the Board of Selectmen. Is there another way of handling this? So I open it up for discussion.
Well, I don't know that you need our permission.
Right.
I mean, you're not speaking on behalf of the board. You're a selectman.
Right.
Engaging with them.
And you'd have to report back to us
Yeah.
anyway before we did anything.
So,
But there is a nexus there, and there is a courtesy to you guys who work hard.
Appreciate it, yeah.
Okay?
yeah.
Well, that's what I'm contemplating.
Yep.
From Karen, Linda Bean from the Conservation Commission and from working in the Selectman's office, has submitted her resignation. Steve Wingate and Karen are willing to work together to find someone that could fit our needs. Linda has been willing to stay until a replacement is found. So do we need to add an advertisement in the paper along with the others?
Well, I put two examples there for you.
Yes.
One was the part for diem ad that we did in the past, and the other one was the second one I figured to be a little more specific.
Yes.
I just wanted to see.
What, has the board read the suggestions?
In my opinion, the second one is what we ought to look at.
The more specific with the conservation.
Conservation and administrative support at the
I think,
town
yeah, I
office.
think it would be great,
Okay.
just to give the person an idea of what they're even applying for. I
Sure.
understand.
Right.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So, and certainly, that was, as I recall, part of the idea when Linda came on board is that she would be able to expand into doing, to providing coverage in the office and helping with that stuff.
And Steve and I sat together with her at the beginning. We're glad to
Right.
work together as long as it's less than fine with that.
Yeah, I guess that's fine. I'm sort of, we have to get the ad in the paper, obviously, but
Right.
I think we need to get some candidates in here.
Yep,
Start building the jobs around candidates that we got
right.
to a certain extent.
Okay.
So,
So the message to Karen is full speed ahead.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Dear Selectmen, do you have in mind that you'd like to meet with Tyler Phillips to discuss the Union Wharf project? As I understand it, the company we've been dealing with, his old company,
Right.
they have fulfilled their contract,
Well, paid up.
okay?
Yeah, I think we should meet with Tyler, because at some point in time, we need a fully fleshed description of what DES is
Yes.
willing to do and what he thinks the appropriate strategy would be.
And the former company has no
No.
issue with that.
Yep.
right.
And to the 27th?
Sure.
And we should probably talk about the Melvin
Lake Road.
Yep.
Lake Road.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Any other correspondence? Okay, selectmen's updates.
I was running the skid steer all week.
Oh, there you go. All right.
And your floor is done.
Yeah.
Do you have any updates?
The only thing I want to mention is planning board meeting Thursday night. We have 2 site plan reviews, on the agenda for different projects at Camp Belknap. So I'm sure it will be a spirited
Is it
meeting.
live ammunition? I thought it was pellets.
It is.
There's no explosives in a pellet gun.
Right, no.
It's air.
That's right. So the existing range uses 22s. The new range, in an area that is further from neighboring properties, will use pellets, which is, it's not explosive, all right? And it's quieter. The environmental impacts are less. It's closer to some neighbors than where the existing range is, which is, and the other site plan has to do with tent camping in a new area.
On Island?
No, this is on Chase Point Road. It's a property that previously has not been used by them for tent platform camping. So anyway.
Well, I'm all for every child learning gun safety.
Yep.
If it takes Camp Belknap to do it, then by God, let them do it. But not teaching it is not an option as far as I'm concerned. And probably the people yelling the loudest, I'm sure, moved into the problem, because Belknap's been there and they've been shooting guns for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I hadn't thought of that. I like that. And I went to Camp Belknap a couple of years, so. I have nothing. Is there any other business, Karen?
If you could just go into a brief non-public for legal, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We do have that.
Anybody on the line under other business?
No.
Okay. The
All right,
chair.
I move that we go into non-public 91A3, Roman 2, parent L, review legal correspondence.
I'll second.
Would yes?
Marcus, yes.
Oh, yeah.